Hey, good evening and welcome to the very first Thankful Thursday Freedom Call for 2024. If you have joined us last year, you know that I love our weekly calls. I love being able to give you at least one tip to move you forward, at least one action item to move you forward on these calls. So today we're talking about a little Q&A, and I had a question that I am going to answer for you. And this was actually a very interesting question, a very interesting conversation I had this weekend at an event that I go to regularly. I go to move myself forward towards goals. I go to and meet other people and get inspired by other people, lift each other up because no man is an island. You really, somebody says, I did it all myself. It's not true. You cannot do it all yourself. So here's the question. I shared my story on stage a little bit about how I became a debt-free millionaire, how I started with First Steps to Success, paid off $92,000 in 12 months. 92,000 in 12 months without increasing my income. Actually had an income drop, which is what prompted me and my husband to say, shoot, you have an income drop and we have debt, things are getting tight. How do we get out of it? Um, and I definitely have a lot to share with you. That is exciting. And I just want to let you know this happened in 2019. So you are not too much farther along than me. I mean, 2019, that was just 4 or 5 years ago. So don't think that it necessarily takes a lifetime to get out of debt or to become a millionaire. So the question that was asked of me is, what do you do? Because they heard my story about um, getting out of debt in that short amount of time and becoming 100% debt free, including my mortgage, and becoming a millionaire. And I have to keep saying it because, as you will see as I talk later on, it wasn't like as soon as the bank account rolled over that cha-ching, the confetti started streaming and balloons started dropping. It was not like winning the lottery, which is good because the vast majority of people that win the lottery go right back to being dead broke within 5 to 10 years. They are completely broke and worse off than even before winning the lottery. So I'm glad I did not win the lottery. And the answer to the question is, what do I do? I'm a stay-at-home mom. And this gentleman that asked me the question was like, yeah, well, how did you become a millionaire? Being a stay-at-home mom. You didn't make any money. I don't understand. And this person has been coming to these events. You know, some people catch things a little more quickly than others. And I said, have you read the book, The Millionaire Next Door? And I'm looking for my copy. I may have lent it out because I definitely would love to even read you a few little bits from that. And he said yes. And I'm like, that's what I did. That's how I became a millionaire. I read the book, The Millionaire Next Door, and it said that if you earn less than six figures a year, that's less than $100,000 a year, you can still become a millionaire. I want to let that sink in because a lot of people think that I just need to make more money to get out of debt. And that is a lie. It is not true. It is a lie designed to keep you broke. It is a lie designed to keep you on the hamster wheel of chasing money. Chasing money will make money run from you. So that is what I did. I was a stay-at-home mom. My husband was making less than six figures a year, and we were living really like typical middle class Americans, just doing the typical things, watching the typical TV shows, going through the typical drive-throughs, spending money on the typical things, going to the big box stores like Costco, and yeah, I mean, we couldn't get out of there without dropping 2 or $300. But oh, what a great deal we got because we got these gigantic cans of tomatoes on sale that are going to last us for a year. Um, so to be a millionaire, to be a debt-free millionaire, first of all, you have to believe that you can do it, okay? And that might sound like wishy-washy and woo-woo, oh, just believe. All right, it's not just believe, but that's where you start. And I believed I could after reading The Millionaire Next Door. So, number one, this is my first tip for you. Go get the book, The Millionaire Next Door. If you don't have any money, check it out from the library. Use a free resource. Borrow it from a friend. I don't get any money by telling you to read The Millionaire Next Door. Okay? I don't get any money from that. This is me here to help you get the book. If you already have the book, read the book. How many books are on your shelf? I'm talking to myself here. How many books are on your shelf that you spent good money for that you haven't read? All right. Painful, and as a homeschooling mom, we read a lot. We read tons of books, but there were also tons of books that I spent money on that I did not read, and I hoarded it and I saved them because, gosh, there's such a good book. I'm gonna read it, and then I would get more and I would get more, and I would pile it up. Um, I want to show you my bookshelves here. All right. So if you see that, those are three bookshelves, and I have one other shelf just like that over to my left. That's four bookshelves. That is all I have left. And you know what? I still look at it and think the same thing. I got rid of at least four times as many books as I have now. I want you to imagine this whole room, not just this set of bookshelves, not just doubled, not just tripled, four times massive books. It was overwhelming. And I kept buying stuff, kept buying stuff. Can you relate to that? Um, that's not the way to become debt free. And that's not the way for financial freedom, to just keep buying and buying and buying and hoarding, and it's overwhelming. And that you got to let go of it. This is what I'm learning. Let go. I got rid of so many things. I'm going to go through it one more time because when you desire so much stuff in your flesh and you buy it because you can put it on the credit card, you've got a credit limit. Hey, you can pay the minimum payment, go ahead, put more on and on and on. There's only a certain amount of capacity that you can take physically in your space and mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And when you reach that, you're not going to be able to receive. I believe that God designed us for abundance because He's a God of abundance. And speaking of God, if you're wondering what this is, here's the scripture. This is my name forever. It is This was scanned from the Aleppo Codex. It is the name of God, the Yod He Vav He, the Tetragrammaton, as it's called. It's the four letters that represent God's name. And before these vowel pointings were discovered, back uh, what year was it? It's been pretty recent. It's pretty much been, I think, in the last 20 years that the vowel pointings were rediscovered on how to actually pronounce God's name. Now, you may have heard Yahweh, you may have heard Jehovah. You know, Jehovah's pretty close, but there is, I believe, a spiritual awakening. And these vowel pointings are Yahoveh. So that is the pronunciation. If you've heard it a different way, it's okay. God knows our hearts. But there is an awakening. And this God, the God of the Bible, the Aleppo Codex, is also very similar to the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's ancient Hebrew texts that are thousands of years old. So back to, what does that have to do with becoming a debt-free millionaire? It has everything to do with being a debt-free millionaire, because the millionaire next door helped me believe that I could do it. It showed me examples of people that have become millionaires and stayed out of debt. But the other thing that convicted me is reading the Bible. In the Bible, God told his people he did not want them to be in debt. Did not want them to be in debt. He said, however, if you are going to borrow, I want my people to only borrow from my people, and I want my people to not charge interest to my people. Imagine how powerful that would be as believers of the Bible, whatever denomination you have, if you only borrowed from each other and if you didn't charge each other interest. A lot of wealth could be built, but here's the key. He did not want people to be in debt for more than 7 years. And every 7th year, all debts were forgiven. And that convicted me, because I'm like, dang, I've been in debt for a lot longer than 7 years. And I said, starting now, I need to be out of debt in way less than 7 years, because I'm not following the biblical principle that God designed me for. He did not design me to be in slavery to debt. He did not design me to make the bankers rich. Think about that. Think about that. It convicted me, and I was like, but how do I do it? All right, if you've learned from being a child, if you were taught from your parents to stay out of debt, and if you were taught what to do with money instead of chasing money, you take the money and you make the money work for you instead of you being a slave for money. I'm a slave for money. How can I get it? I'm chasing it. Let me work for this person. Let me work for that person. Let me buy my lottery tickets. Let me chase it. You will be poor. A fool chasing his fantasies comes to nothing. But I wasn't taught what to do. What we do is we're faithful with what we're given, and we take what we've earned and we multiply it. All right, that's in Matthew. That's the parable of the talents. If you're familiar with that story, reread it. If you're not familiar with that story, you can go to Rabbi Google, type in what is the parable of the talents, and you will see that in the story, the master, Jesus was telling the story, or Yeshua as it was pronounced back then, told the story, and he gave people talents. It was a huge sum of money. It was almost a year's worth of wages. Somebody got 2 talents, somebody got 5, somebody got 10. And he expected them to make it multiply. All right, so you might be thinking, okay, sounds good. How do I make it multiply? All right, that's where you need the training, and I will tell you training that I have received. So I said that I am going to always give you one or two tips to move you towards your goals of financial freedom. I assume you have that goal of financial freedom if you're here. Um, so number one, get that book, Millionaire Next Door. Number two, take a look through the best success book ever written, which is the Bible, and read the principles. All right, you can do a search to find the specific scriptures. In that parable of the talents, he says, trade until I come. Trade. Do you do any trading? Do you do any investments? And we're not talking like speculation, like, oh, somebody just made, I've heard this. I've had people tell me this, man, I bought this stock and it's a hot stock and I already tripled my money. Somebody tells you that, run. Do not do it. And if you do it, consider it a game, consider it gambling. Only spend as much money as you're comfortable with never seeing again. All right. I do not do those speculations. Stay out of debt. But what if you're already in debt? Let's find a way to get you out of debt as quickly as possible. And before you get out of debt and before you become a millionaire, and if that's what you want, I believe you can do it. If you have a desire for being a millionaire because it sounds cool, I'm going to ask you, why do you want to be a millionaire? Do you want to be a millionaire so you can drive flashy cars and have the Rolex? Or do you want that? Because that sounds like a number that's going to give you financial peace to where you don't have to worry or have the stress and the anxiety of having an unexpected bill, an emergency bill, just making it paycheck to paycheck. Um, that's where I was at. So why do you want financial freedom? Why? Figure out why. And I will tell you, if you want to be a millionaire so you can buy the fancy cars and have the fancy Rolexes and go on the fancy vacations, you're going to be broke. I'm sorry, but that's the reality right now. If you chase those things, that's where your money goes, that's where your heart is, then more money will make you more of who you already are. More money will make you more of who you already are. If you're somebody that chases the fancy, shiny things, then more money will make you chase greater and bigger, fancy, shiny things. All right, now maybe that's not you. I hope it's not you. And if it is you, because I gotta say, I'd like some fancy, shiny things at one time in my life. Grow your character before you become wealthy. Grow your character through this journey. If you grow your character, if you grow your heart, if you grow your spiritual character, and you seek things of the spirit, that as the money comes, you will be more of that spiritual person. Seek peace, seek generosity. If you're somebody that says, hey, I don't tithe, I don't give because I'm in debt, but as soon as I'm out of debt and as soon as I'm a millionaire, then I'll start giving, I'm going to call BS. It is not true, because if you're not practicing that now, you won't do it then. If you're not practicing generosity now, you will not be generous when you're a millionaire. Tons and tons of studies is proof. The more money you have, it amplifies who you already are. If you're not a giver now, more money will make you more stingy. So give now. Give now. Be a giver now. And here's, just to prove the point. My husband's Italian. He was born in Italy, came over here when he was 11, and what do Italians that move to New York do? They work in pizza shops. They deliver pizzas, right? So, him and his brothers worked many, many, many pizza shops, had pizza delivery. And the first time any of the delivery drivers came in, they're like, "Oh, I want the rich neighborhoods. I want the wealthy neighborhoods. I want the neighborhoods with the biggest houses and the best cars." Because what do you think they thought? They thought, that's where I'm going to get the big money. Well, you know what? Stingy, stingy people, no tips, small tips, the rich neighbor, because they didn't have it. They had all the bling, they had all of the outside vision of, you, this looks like we're rich and we got it going on. They're in debt up to their eyeballs, past their eyeballs. You know where you got the tips? The middle class neighborhoods, even the poorer neighborhoods, they would tip. They were generous. How ironic is that? So, again, I'm going to reiterate, get The Millionaire Next Door, read those Bible stories, and consider, why do you want to be financially free? And cultivate the character that you want. If you want to be generous when you're rich, be generous when you're poor. Final thing, final thing. In order to become debt free, in order to become a millionaire, it's not rocket science. Spend less money than you make. That's how you do it. Spend less than you make. Get your money invested to where it's going to make babies. Get your money invested to where it's going to make more money for you. That's it. So why aren't you doing it? You're probably, if you're not doing it right now, which you should be, if you're not doing it, you're probably not doing it for the same reason that I did not do it. I was like, okay, but how do I do it? How do I do? I need somebody to hold my hand. That's great. Spend less than I make. Okay, thank you, Einstein. But I'm living paycheck to paycheck. How can I spend less? Find somebody who has what you want and get them to mentor you. In this group, lots of people have shared ways that they have gotten out of debt, paid down their debt without increasing your income. Now, I like to do both. It makes sense to be faithful with what you have, be faithful with your resources, don't waste them, and find ways to increase your income. I mean, that working both of those things. But if you're not doing it, find somebody to do it. Here's how I did it. I didn't have anybody to teach me. Although my grandmother gave me a lot of lessons, she survived the Great Depression. We will have a study on surviving depressions and hyperinflation. But that was when I was a child. Nobody held my hand and said, here's how you do it. Here's step number one. Go do this. Come back to me. Let me know how you did. And we'll see if you're ready for the next step and the next step. I plugged into an event. You know the event. It's First Steps to Success. That was the first thing that I did. I found people that were doing it. A lot of information is given. I took one thing and I said, I am going to take every coaching course I can with Danny Johnson. For a whole year. I said, for a whole year, I'm going to go to every single event, and every time a coaching opportunity opens up, I'm going to take it. That's what I needed. And that's what got me results fast. So I'm going to suggest you go to First Steps to Success the next opportunity you get to. Okay. If you ask me for a link, I might get a couple of bucks credit for it, which goes right into tithing or paying for the Zoom, does not go in my pocket. I'm not going to the Bahamas on getting people to First Steps to Success. All right. The tickets are around $300. And that price doesn't even pay for all of the people that it takes to run the event. Everybody at the event, they're volunteers. They don't even get paid to be there. Those are the sort of people I want to hang around with. Those are the sort of people that I want to learn from. Basically, that tiny amount of money, and it might be a huge amount to you, because I'll admit it was a huge amount when I first went. And I took me, my son, my husband, took the three of us. It was a significant amount of money, and it was scary to spend that amount of money. But also, I know that there are other events that I had seen people go to that were $5,000, $10,000 for a weekend for one ticket. The event is kept so low because people volunteer their time. And those other events that are $5,000, $10,000, they pay people. They pay people to be ushers and to do registration and all of that. So again, I'm going to tell you, find out when the next First Steps to Success is and be there. And that's what I did. If you want the results that I got, do what I did. That's it. Find a coach. I would love to be your coach. Tons of other people in the community. I don't coach men. So if you're a man watching this on a replay on YouTube, you got to find somebody else. Maybe you are Latino and want somebody that can speak your native language. Yeah, there are native Spanish speakers. If you want somebody that you feel you can get that communication from, figure out what you want and how fast you want it. There are three things when you have a goal. I'm going to try and remember this. You can have it fast, you can have it good, or you can have it cheap, but you can only pick two. So if you want to go the cheap route, if you say, hey, I'm not going to pay anybody, not going to pay the coaching stuff, I'm going to go the cheap route, then it's going to take a long time. You can have it fast, you can have it good, or you can have it cheap. I wanted it fast. You got to pay for that with anything, with anything. So that is it. The bottom line is decide what you want. It's financial freedom. If it's being debt free, it's having your money work for you. Put in the discipline, put in the commitment, and sometimes you have to put in some money, buy some books. The first thing I did is I bought books. Next thing I did is I went to the event. It took me 3 years to get to the event, and I will tell you, when I got there and I finished the weekend, I was kicking myself because I waited 3 years. I said, man, I would have been out of debt 3 years faster if I would have just gone the first time my friend asked me to go. So that is it. And money, you can always make more money. You can't make more time. And that was something I did not understand. I lost 3 years. 3 years. So That's it. I'm going to recap the items. Get the book, The Millionaire Next Door. Get the book. Review the best success book ever written. The Bible talks about how to get out of debt, how to stay out of debt, what to do with money, the right attitude to have, be a giver. Which brings us to number 3, give. What whoever you are now is who you will be when you're rich. Are you stingy? Are you generous? If you want to be generous when you are financially free, start practicing generosity now. And bottom line, find a mentor, find a community to plug into. I give so much here for free in the spiritual money mind shift group. I'm here, you can ask me your questions. I'm here to help you get up that rung of the ladder so you can fly. You might not have any money right now to even buy the book. Go to the library. We'll get you there. Watch some of the people in the group. Watch Grace Alexander, who has paid off massive debt and started off little income things to help her pay off debt faster. Kayla is another one in the group. She started a bunch of side hustles. She, I think, does Instacart deliveries, and she's an amazing artist. So she sells her huge, big, beautiful paintings. She also bakes sourdough bread, like homemade sourdough bread, and she sells it. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. I hope this helped you. And let's make 2024 the best year yet. I'm here and I'm rooting for you. And I believe in you. I believe you can do it. So that's it. Enjoy your evening. Pick your next step. Get that book and send me your questions. Put your successes in the group. And thank you for being here.